The robots might be taking over, but at least you have this podcast. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the next episode of the Scott and Ian Show on the SBL podcast. Let's go. I'm feeling great. How are you feeling today? You feeling hopeful about the future? You feeling terrified about the robot overlords? I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. I think I will be a nice pet to them. Scott and I hadn't talked in so long, actually, when we filmed this episode, and Scott was like, I know, let's talk about 3 things that are blowing our minds lately. I love that about Scott. He's got a list, he's got bullets. He's like, let's talk today about 3 things. Just amazing. I feel like it's from doing YouTube for so long, right? I'm getting into that mindset as well. But the chat turned to ChatGPT and AI and what we think about it. I am fascinated by it. I mean, I hope it doesn't end up Skynet, fiery 80s dystopian horror movie. Maybe in the future, it's not going to be so much about how we write music, but it will be how well we prompt the AI to write our music. Is this interesting to you? It probably is, since you clicked on it. We talk a lot about it in this episode. But before we get there, let me tell you what's going on at SBL this week. We have a brand new course coming up. Next week, songwriting and composition with Michael League of Snarky Puppy. His mentor sessions, if you haven't seen them on our mentors program, they are unbelievable. They're archived in the mentor streams, and he has a new course coming up. I'm really excited about that. I have devoured all of Michael League's content on the platform. We also have a mentor session coming up on March 6th, and our Fretboard Accelerator enrollment is open. So if you need to learn how to play, if you need to learn how to play shapes, understand your fretboard, the Fretboard Accelerator is an amazing product. Check that out. Also, the Fast Action Bonus runs out tomorrow, Friday, March 3rd. So if you want it, grab it. Also, there is a free sample lesson available, and we have a 5-day Fretboard Challenge coming up on Monday, March 6th. There's a lot of stuff going on at SBL. And do you know about SBL? Have you taken the free 14-day trial? Do you know it's the best place online to level up your skills as a bass player? Whether you want a handheld trajectory through song-based learning, if you just want perspective from studio pros or jazz greats like John Patitucci, if you want to learn how to read, if you want to learn how to groove, if you want to learn how to play soul, funk, R&B, rock, if you're brand new and need how to just place your hands on the bass, this is the place for you. There's something for everyone, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Take the free 14-day trial. That's enough of me. Let's get over to the episode.
Maybe we just catch up. How about, is that an idea? Ian and Scott catch up.
Scott catch up.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come up with a better title than that, right? But
yeah.
Maybe it is just like, can we just catch up for the next 45 minutes?
Yes.
Because I just want.
Yes, we can. Of course, we can.
Yeah,
we're grown men that need to catch up. Do you? Yeah, who in your life do you need to catch up with? For me, it's Scott Devine right now.
Exactly right. So, listeners, hello. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic day out there. Ian and I, we have not spoken to each other for 3 weeks now, and we have absolutely got a podcast episode to do with notes and stuff.
Yeah,
but that means that we won't be able to just catch up and chat about what we're geeking out about now. So I think we just geek out. And
I love it.
I thought a fun way, just in my mind, if this wasn't planned, I was like, we should tell each other 3 things that have rocked our worlds over our break, the break in our relationship. We were on a break.
3 things. We were on a break. And it wasn't like one of us said, you know what, I'm going to need a little time and a little space. I'm going to need a break. It just, life happened and we took a break. And I was like, dude, I don't know if you've ever heard that. There's that great Tenacious D record where Jack Black sings like, dude, I totally miss you. I totally miss you. That's how I felt, man. I missed you over the break, man. I did.
I miss you, man.
Yeah.
So
3 things. Okay.
3 things that rocked your world over our man relationship break.
Okay. Am I starting? You're just going to throw that at me?
Do you want me to start? I'll start. Currently, as well, just to be open, I've only got two, but I'm sure I can figure out a third.
You're going to figure out a third as we go. Okay, I love it. Two
just sounded a bit shit, didn't it? Two things? What did you...
Two things? Oh, that sounds lame.
So I've got three things. Okay, so the first thing is, and takes us back to the conversation we were having earlier, is this thing called ChatGPT. This is a new technology that's just been made publicly available by the company called OpenAI. And Elon Musk's involved with it. Sam Altman's the CEO. Microsoft's also involved with it. It's just ripped my face off, and I think that we're possibly moving into a completely new normal in terms of how we use technology. Wow. And I think that this is the most important thing that's been released in the last 2 decades.
Good Lord.
Maybe more. So if anybody hasn't heard of it, nobody I've talked about to, all of my family are like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? It is AI, so it's artificial intelligence, and it's like a search bar, right? So it just looks like Google. It's a search bar. But instead of, just using it to search, you can use it to do things for you. So it's a chat tool. It says it in the name, right? GPT chat. So
what does GPT stand for? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I did hear the name and I was like, good Lord, that's a crap name. So I was like, it's awkward to say, it's annoying, but anyway, there you go, GPT.
Yeah.
What is it? I'm trying to work out what it stands for. Something. Anyway,
I have no clue.
Yeah, so it looks just like, it doesn't look just like Google, but it's just a single search bar, and you can put questions you could put a question into this chat and ask it something and it will tell you, or you can ask it to do something for you and it will do it. And it's trained on a large language model. It's a large language model, which means it's been trained on all of this information that they've given it to train the AI, right? So they've trained it. So for instance, I'll give you a couple of use cases. Yes. I was talking to my sister and she was saying, this was over the Christmas period. She was like, I'm really not looking forward to going back to work. I need to write a bunch of lesson plans because my sister's a teacher. I was like, have you checked out ChatGPT? She's like, no. Yeah. I was like, okay. I pulled it up and I was like, what age range is it for? She was like 7-year-olds. I was like, what project is like, what, I was just trying to give her an idea of how these things work. I'm like, well, what kind of subject do you want it to be about? She's like, let's make it about art. I said, how long's the lesson? She was like 60 minutes. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, can you create a lesson plan for 7-year-olds? We want it to be an art project and we'd love it to be around 60 minutes long. And please use all of the best practices when it comes to creating this lesson plan for a UK-based education system.
Holy.
So I pressed it, return. Dude.
How long did it take?
10 to 15 seconds. 10 to 15 seconds. So it writes out this lesson plan.
Yes.
I email it to my sister and she's just sort of like, her freaking mind was blocked. She was like, I have no idea how it's done this. She said, like, it's broken it down into segments.
Yeah. Yes.
10-minute intro. Next is sort of like, et cetera, et cetera. Then the next bit is group work. Then all of this, so it's broken out the lesson into a really specific lesson plan. It's put the learning outcomes. It's put the assessment criteria. It's like...
It's insane.
It's insane. So that was for her. Another one, I was like talking to Lisa the other day. We're going down to London in a couple of weeks. And she's like, oh, we need to sort out that London trip. I was like, oh, check it out. We'll just see what GPT can do. She's like, what do you mean? And I said, let's see if it can write as an itinerary. Okay.
Yes.
So I pulled up ChatGPT. I was like, okay, so we're going to London for 3 days with my 7-year-old, my 10-year-old, and my wife. We love art, museums, live music, learning experiences, cinema, theatre, those kinds of artsy things. We also love visiting different restaurants as well. Please give me a 3-day itinerary, taking into consideration that we don't want to leave the house before 9 o'clock, and we have to get back before 6 p.m. each evening. We're staying at this specific postcode, and we don't want to travel more than 2 miles from that postcode.
Wow.
Please make me an itinerary. Pressed it.
Yes.
Within 15 seconds, I've got a full itinerary, mate, with restaurant recommendations, with what cuisine are in the restaurant. I mean, all of these places, you're going to go to the Natural History Museum, you're going to go, or, you know, and it had done it in a way where all of the, obviously, so check, it's like, just to get really into the nitty gritty, say we're at the Natural History Museum on Monday. Let's just hypothetically say that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the restaurants that it's recommended are like 2 to 5 minutes walk from the Natural History Museum. Then you need to jump in a taxi and travel 7 minutes to this next stop. And for your evening meal, you're going to be in this restaurant here, which is a 2 to 5 minute walk from where it's.
Wow.
So I handed it to Lisa. She was just like, holy shit. She was like, this would have taken me 2 hours, 3 hours to pull something like that together.
Of course.
It did it in 10 to 15 seconds. So here's the crazy thing. You can use it to write articles. I had fun with it. I was like, can it write me a 2,000-word article on the 10 best effects pedals for bass players of all time? Instant. Did it.
Crazy.
So we did a Marcus Miller interview. I went to ChatGPT. Hey, we've just released a Marcus Miller. We were about to release a Marcus Miller interview on YouTube. Shout out, thank you to everybody that watched that interview.
It's so good.
Loads of great feedback from that.
Yeah.
Create a title for it. It gives me 10 titles.
Jeez,
give me a thumbnail idea.
Exactly.
Give me some thumbnail ideas for this YouTube video. It gives me a bunch of thumbnail ideas. It can give me 10. It can give me 20 ideas. It's right. And and this is for people that are watching the YouTube video of this. Okay. So check this out. So again, what I was talking about earlier is that ChatGPT it's a large language model that's been trained, and they've trained it on obviously a certain amount of data. ChatGPT 4 is about to be released this year. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold this up to the screen. On the left-hand side of the screen is is the data set that ChatGPT has been trained on, and on the right-hand side of the screen is the data set that ChatGPT 4 will be trained on. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh wow. A really small thing and then a really big thing.
It's like looking at the UK next to the Earth.
Yes, that's right.
So I'll read this out. The first dot is the amount of data ChatGPT 3 was trained on. The second is what ChatGPT 4 is trained on.
Yeah.
They are already doing demos. It can write, this is ChatGPT 4 that's coming this year, it can write a 60,000 word book from one single prompt.
Crazy. Yeah.
In the style of whoever you want.
Right.
So you could say
Stephen King.
Exactly.
Tom Clancy.
Well, languages as well. People that have never written before. So you can take somebody that's never written before and say, write me a book by this individual.
Yeah. So we're not even sure. I mean, I wonder, and does this feel exciting and terrifying to you? How does this make you feel?
Me specifically, super excited.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Because it's going to be like, I listened to a thing with Tim Henson from Polyphia and Rick Beato, and they were talking about AI and music. And Tim was, did I say Tim Henson? I think that's the name, guitar player in Polyphia. And he was saying it's going to become about how you prompt. So like it doesn't necessarily mean that, well, now all travel consultants are gone. now all authors are gone, all musicians are, because everyone will just be able to put something into, ChatGPT. But he was saying there still are going to be so many people that won't want to use this or don't know how or don't have access, and that it's going to be about how you prompt, how creative, how creatively that you use the AI. And I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. I think that people are going to, for my specific experience with it, it has demonstrated to me, and it will be to anybody that starts using this, how crappy you are at asking the right question. It's actually very interesting because the output that it gives you is based on the quality of the question or prompt that you give it.
Yes.
It's the quality of the question or prompt that you give it, which is super interesting, right? Because we think that we're great asking questions. Actually, we're a bag of shite.
Yeah. And like the more specific, the better. I was at my neighbor. I live across from a guy who makes flutes. He makes copper flutes for a living. The interesting thing, Scott, is he is way on the tech edge. So he has ChatGPT. He was showing me, he was like, I want you to, we're talking about images. He was telling me about the itinerary thing. And the interesting thing that he said, what this is making me do is double down on physical. So he had like online stuff and he was doing that. And he said, what I know now, how he felt is like, I need to be making something that AI cannot make. I am going to make physical product with my hands that will not be able to be replicated. He said it's pushed me in that direction, which I think is fascinating.
Well, I think the writing's on the wall that people are going to be, it's going to definitely disrupt a lot of different industries without a shadow of a doubt. And if somebody disagrees with that, they're smoking crack. Like it's going to, article writers. Really? I think that it's actually going to for a lot of different industries or a lot of different skills, it's going to get rid of 80% of the bottom lot. People that are just doing sort of like day-to-day article writing and stuff like that. I think that the top 10 to 20% of skilled people will still have a place because they will be able to read through what the AI is putting out, and they'll be able to like come at it from a different angle and tweak it here and tweak it there to make it more effective. But just like, for instance, article writing, for instance, that is going to die a death. It really is. And I think that it's going to, obviously with any new technology like this, I think that it's going to present a lot of challenges as well. Like, I'm not sure how the education system is going to deal with this from a student perspective, because they'll be able to sort of like just basically do essays. It's basically like Seth Godin wrote an article on that this week saying, "Oh, goodbye essays," saying that it's like they're going to have a real problem on their hands. So
okay, Scott Tradamus, what will this do to bass playing? What will this do to music? I want your hot take. I want your initial reaction. What is this going to do to the music industry? I'm not exactly sure, but I do. Let me thread the, let me connect some dots that have interested me. Like, I'm not sure what it's going to do to the music industry. But here's the thing. Like, my son is a YouTube fanatic. I think he's 9 right now, about to be 10. Yeah, right. Any 9 or 10-year-old kid is obviously a YouTube fanatic. And I think that it's what most kids actually, it's the number one thing that they aspire to be. When we were kids, we wanted to go into space and travel to the moon or be a policeman or whatever. Now everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Yeah, side note, it looks a lot more fun than traveling to the moon or, I don't know, going to the moon. It's a lot safer than going to the moon and a lot more fun than being a policeman, I expect. Anyway, so everybody wants to be or a lot more less risky than being a policeman. Yeah, right. Or policewoman, should I say. So
He is a, super YouTuber, loves it. Probably spends sort of like 30 minutes or an hour a day on it, whatever, just sort of like, and he'd spend 8 hours a day on it if we let him. Okay. And his favorite YouTube channel is an animated character. It's not
a human.
It's not a human. It's not a boy. It's not a girl. It's an animated character. Okay. And what I was thinking about is, isn't that interesting that at some point, and I watched actually a YouTuber just this week, he did a YouTube video and he used ChatGPT to create the script. And because of his personality and presenting style, you could not tell.
Wow.
You could not tell that he had not written it. It was phenomenal. I would have sat and listened to that all day. It was a great YouTube video. ChatGPT gave him the script for it. Now, caveat, he's an industry expert. He probably gave it some great prompts.
Tweaks. Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
But he explicitly said at the beginning of the video, I did not write one word of this YouTube video.
Wow. So he didn't tweak it then, maybe. Wow.
No, he didn't tweak it. He'll have given it the correct prompts. So he did not. The correct prompts. Okay. So he just read that script and it was a good 8 to 10 minutes long and it was a really fantastic YouTube video, edited really well. Now, obviously that, taking into consideration that my son is now watching animated characters, it puts us in a situation where, YouTube videos using animated characters and AI, you actually don't need a human anymore. You could just have somebody behind the scenes sort of prompting the AI to give various outputs and then putting that with an animated character. Maybe in the future, GPT-4 could put that with an animated character itself and then giving that to an editor, sideline or side note, could GPT-4 then edit the actual, I don't know,
right.
That's where the AI is not just outputting a single blog post or an article or an essay or a book.
Right.
It's a multimedia thing. It's a multimedia experience that you're watching. But I do think that does transition to music, and I am really interested to know when the first AI produced massive hit will drop. And it's coming.
Yes.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And again, I'm going to say it again. If you don't think that statement's true, any of you listeners, you're smoking crack.
It is right.
Without a shadow of a doubt, there is going to be a massive tune drop and it's going to be 100% AI generated.
In 2023?
I don't think so. I don't think in 23, but maybe in 24.
You think in 24?
Yeah,
wow.
I think it's that close. Side note, I actually don't think that it's going to be... I think there's going to be a place for sure for original music by humans.
A very small place.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, it could be I think that's going to be a long way in the future, actually, because I think that people love people. And I think that they love but is there an animated character that could get that same kind of,
for sure.
Think about,
of course,
what was Damon Albarn's band? Not Blur. After he did Blur, the
Gorillaz.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So Gorillaz did exactly that. It was an animated band, real humans behind it, but in terms of sort of front facing, it was like the animations, wasn't
characters,
it?
Yeah.
I wonder if is it a big leap to go from that to actually humans not writing the music?
No, definitely not. I think too, as long as it's prompted correctly, those characters could actually be very deep and multifaceted. And I mean, just an excellent bit of fiction. I think, no, for sure. That's coming quickly. I think you're right. And I want to ask you if you talking about these three things that have been blowing our minds, was this just a device for you to get to talk about AI and ChatGPT?
Oh, dude, I'm just talking to everybody about it. I'm just talking. It's just, honestly, it's just smashed my face. I'm just I do think it's going to change so much. It's going to change so much.
I mean, and even on a small level, like check this out. So I went across the street to this little like winter wonderland carnival at my neighbor's house. He put a little skating rink in his side yard, which is so cool. And they had hot chocolate and the kids were playing. They were showing a movie on a pop-up screen. Super cool family. And they went around the block and put little invitations in everybody's mailbox. And I pulled the invitation out and then, and it was adorable and, a nice little card stock. And then at the end of the night, when we were talking about OpenAI and chat, he was saying, I did that. He said, ChatGPT did that invitation.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, he said, I just told, and I wanted kind of like illustrated tree in the background. He said it designed this invitation and put it all together. And I was like, wow. I mean, dude, even just like a small, something very small and potentially super time consuming, right? Like designing a thing for your.
It wrote me an email the other day. It wrote me it and it sounded wicked. And then I was like, yeah, that's great. But can you make it funnier? And it said, sure, here's a revised version of that email with humor inserted. And you know what? It was fucking funny.
Wow. Yeah. That is insane.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Like, I think it's going to go in a lot of weird, and I'm just to point it out as well. I am not like a early adopter of barely anything. Actually, the opposite. So TikTok came along. I was like,
this
meh.
You are.
Yeah. Everybody's like NFTs. I'm like, meh. And and I'm still not sold on that. This is going to change so much. It's going to change so much. Everybody's going to use it. Everybody. Yeah. Your mum's going to use it.
In some way.
My mum's going to use it. Everybody's going to use it. I was like, it's about finding a use case at the minute. It's about finding a use case.
Yes.
Just initially, right? So, but after that, after people have found use cases, they're going to be using it all the time. Over the Christmas break, I was like, my wife was ill. It was raining. I'm like, what should I do? Where do I go? Well, I went to ChatGPT.
What did you do?
Went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, do you know what's really interesting as well? I actually, and this is kind of scary, I kind of sort of like speak to it like it's a human sometimes. And I also thank it. I was like, cheers. I always thank it. I always thank it.
Wow.
Maybe that's the English part of me. I mean, we're all super polite over here.
That's amazing. That reminds me of, when Elon was on Joe Rogan, that famous first interview with Joe Rogan when Elon Musk was on. He said something, in jest, but I will never forget it. He said, like, AI remembers. Siri and Alexa remember. And so if you're mean, they remember.
That's dude. And that is why. It's that statement. It's that freaking statement of why I do that. Yeah. I'm like, hey dude. And then I'm always like, cheers, thanks. And it always says, hey, like, no problem.
Incredible.
Of course, absolutely says, oh, no problem. Dude, over the Christmas period when I was stuck in with the kids, I'd be like, oh, what should I do? I'll go to ChatGPT. I'd be like, I'm stuck in with the kids. I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. So it's still 9. 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. What should I do? Give me 5 things. Instantly. Wow. It's like, boom. And I'm like, oh, wicked. I call the kids over. I'm like, which of these do you fancy? And they're looking and we like talk about ChatGPT and they're like, oh, let's do this one. We go do it. We do some baking. And then, I mean, like, honestly, it's going to be used by everybody.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to get on. I need to get on board. It's a little freaky to me.
It's freaky, dude.
I need to get on board.
But you like sci-fi stuff, dude. Dude, if you like sci-fi, this is it.
But I know, but remember, hey, and shout out to everybody who commented on the Scott is going to therapy episode. We're recording this amazing. After that one came out, so this will come out later, obviously. But we got a lot of great feedback about that, and people talking about how much they enjoyed that and how much they enjoyed the vulnerability and the friendship, and and in that episode, I talked about my doom and gloom of like, my sci-fi dystopia, like I think the world is going to end. The problem for me The problem for me is that when this stuff happens, I immediately, like, you have such a lovely
You go
way
to the dystopian kind of.
Yes, dude.
No.
You're like, oh, it's going to be amazing, and everybody's going to use it, and it's going to be awesome, and you're already using it with your kids, and you're like, healthily engaging with it, and I'm like, Skynet, dude. Skynet is like, like better thank ChatGPT, or it's going to, like send a drone your way. Like I just can't shake those feelings. So then sometimes instead of embracing and getting excited, I just sort of put my head in the sand. I'm just like an ostrich, So yeah, it's really actually healthy to talk to you about it.
Let me put it out there. Yeah. I do have about this specifically, like AI. There is definitely a healthy scoop of like, oh shit, I'm not sure we're even ready for this. Like, for sure. I'm just not really talking about that much. But, like that is definitely for sure. Like, I'm just not sure. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Check this out. This is going to happen to you in the future and everybody listening to this, me talking right now, okay? You are going to, where do you hate phoning? Let's say the bank, right? Let's say the bank.
Yeah.
You're going to pick up the phone. You're going to have an issue at the bank. You're going to call the bank. The bank will answer. Okay, and I think that this is going to come in the next 2 to 3 years, probably max. Yep. You're going to answer the phone, and they're going to say, hey, how can I help you? And you're going to say, hey, hi, are you an AI or are you human? And if they say, I'm a human, you're going to be bummed out.
You're going to be like, ugh.
Dude, because you might get Sally, who went out late last night. Or you might get John, who he's only been at the company 2 weeks. He doesn't really know what's going on. Right. Or you might get Stephen, who he had a late night, He's feeling a bit rough today. We all know this shit. We have all called the bank or whoever and dealt with sort of like gnarly, it's tough, right? Customer service is tough, especially when you don't, what happens when AI plugs directly into voice?
Oh, yeah.
And they can train it on massive data sets that are way more capable than any human in terms of actually retaining information. Mm-hmm. So I think that will happen in the next 2 to 3 years.
Dude, I want to talk to an AI instead of...
I am a little scared.
Yeah.
I am a little scared.
Oh, man. Well, okay.
Give me yours anyway, dude. Come on. We've got 3 and 1 down. Have you thought of one?
One down, dude. One down.
I know what number 2 is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go fully the opposite of that for my number 1. So Scott's got a number 1. I was thinking, how can I compete with ChatGPT and OpenAI? I cannot. So I'm gonna go with this. Sledding is awesome.
Sledding is
sledding.
Fucking awesome,
dude. I got yes. I got Dash, a GT snow racer. Did you guys have those in the UK growing up? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's like let me pull imagine, it up. Yeah, like pull up GT snow racer. It's basically like 3 skis. There's one in the front, 2 on the sides, and there's a steering wheel that controls the front ski, right?
Oh,
and then there's a seat.
I think that we do have these in the UK, but barely anybody's got them.
Sure. Well, this was like a classic 80s toy in the US. So I had one. It's got these brakes that essentially it's just like these metal things that you push into the snow and like, And for anybody listening, I live in Minnesota, which is one of the snowiest freaking places in the world. Dude, it's crazy. And I mean, check it out, man. My stepdad, Dave, I had a complicated relationship with old Dave, right? But Dave sold my GT snow racer in a garage sale that I did not. Yeah, dude, I did not.
You didn't tell me he sold a snow racer. Oh,
dude, there was bikes and scooters and the GT snow racer. Look, I have a little bit more empathy now that I'm a dad, and you know how we've talked about like throwing things away, like toys and mugs.
Dave
and stuff,
sucks. Dude. Dave sucks.
But he did, man. He did. He sold the GT snow racer, and I was thinking about it. It was kind of eating me up before Christmas, and I was like, I wonder if they make it now. And I found just sort of a knockoff, right? And ordered it. Spent I was watching Top Gun Maverick in my studio on Christmas Eve late, putting that thing together, swearing, classic dad. Just God damn it. And, but I finally got it, and it was a surprise present for Dash. And man, we have been out on that thing. And that piece of equipment is incredible. It's fast, it's fun, it's a little dangerous because it's kind of heavy. It's easy to flip over, it can crunch you, and there's a little bit of danger in sledding that makes it fun. And anyway, we haven't had any catastrophes yet. My number one is sledding with the GT Snow Racer.
Well, dude, I love sledding, so I'm right there with you. I love it. It hasn't snowed this year yet over here, but every time it does, we go up. There's there's a hill. I'm pointing over there. There's a hill over there. We all call it, where I live, we all call it the Bunny Run for whatever reason. I'm not sure. It is lethal, and we all throw ourselves down it with our children, and it's wild.
That's amazing.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, number two.
I'm ready. What's your number two?
I'll be back.
Yeah. Oh, please. He's going to go get something.
So this
that's always
plays
exciting.
right back into your question earlier when you were asking about that fretless bass.
Yeah, please. Yeah, okay, the Gary Willis, the Ibanez.
The Gary Willis Ibanez fretless signature bass that he does, that I got a few months ago, maybe 4 or 6 or whatever months ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had a gig. With
I saw it, dude. I saw it online. Yes.
Oh yeah, it was so freaking wild. It was so fun.
Yeah.
So I go to I've got this gig with my mates. Shout out to Dave Walsh and Nick Spark, and I'm getting my shit ready before the gig, and it's just sort of we're going to play sort of it's an improv based thing. We play tunes and stuff like that, but it's pretty. We stretch it. It's
be grooving and
Yeah, there's groove, there's envelope filters, and there's sort of what's that stuff that guitar players use that that effect that they all use when they just go crazy. I can't remember what it's called.
Dude, let's get down to the bottom. I mean,
not distortion, but
okay.
What's it called? There'll be a guitar player thinking, "Oh, this thing right now." Wayne Krantz
delay?
uses it a lot. Not delay.
Pitch shifter.
Yeah, it's like a pitch shifter type thing. Anyway, so I'm putting my stuff together. I'm got my cabs. I've got the head. I'm what effects am I going to take? So I'm getting my effects together. Got the envelope filter. Got the I've got the what I did. I took the envelope filter. What else did I take? Took the micropog. And I took the Justin Chancellor wah as well.
That's such a sick pedal.
I think I might be doing something wrong. I plug it in, it doesn't work. I put a battery in, it kind of works, but it drains within the hour. Maybe I've got a shit one or something. Maybe it's just faultism. I'm not sure.
Oh shit.
Anyway, but I want to get one of those because damn, I want to play some wah-wah bass.
Man, they're cool.
So I've got all my bits together. Grab my F bass, throw it in the case, and then just as I'm walking out, I look, and the fretless is there. Just winking at me, lonely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Come here. It's
don't you wanna check this out?
Do you want to touch me?
yeah.
Anyway,
and you're maybe I do.
I'm you know what? I'll actually take the fretless because I haven't played it on a gig yet. So I took the fretless, dude. Oh God, man. It was an experience it was so awesome.
That's so cool.
Loved it so much.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so fun. I didn't get the other bass out of the case. I just got the Willis.
You just played the fretless.
Just played the fretless out. And my intention was, I'll get it out and I'll do a couple of tunes on it and then I'll play the fretted bass. I had so much fun on it that I just didn't even pick up the fretted bass.
Incredible.
I was just it was all night long. It was really a sort of it was a moment. It was a moment, and I was because that I played fretless for.
Yeah, fretless is your jam.
4 or 5 years, I only had a fretless bass.
Yes.
I didn't even have a fretted bass. There was it was sort of I was playing it and I was just these sort of weird memories were coming back and these feelings. And I was oh, it's so good to be back.
You were falling in love, dude. You were falling in love with the fretless, dude.
Yeah, right.
Now you're going to have to search for you're going to have to search for the Excalibur fretless now.
Dude, I'll tell you what, it will be really hard to beat this. It'll be really hard to beat it. If you guys haven't seen one of these, it's like, it's really basic. It's swamp ash body. It's one humbucker. Well, I think it might not be a humbucker, I'm not sure, but it looks like a humbucker. One pickup in the sort of like bridge position of a 70s jazz, maybe a little bit further north than that. It's got a little ramp on here. It's got a bass and a treble control and a volume. There's no sexy top on it. It's just all swamp ash. It's a maple neck with I think it's an ebony board, but it might be one of those, like resin boards maybe.
Yeah,
anyway, all that to say that it is really basic. It's really light as well, like super light, and it just kills. It slays.
Yeah.
And it's got 16.5 mil string spacing as well.
Whoa, so super tight.
At the bridge, which actually causes me some problems with my focal dystonia. Like, just to be transparent, like,
yes.
The reason, that's why the reason I haven't used it kind of sort of like on some gigs, because it's sort of like, for whatever reason, that string spacing, it alters the angle of what I do with my right hand, and therefore my focal dystonia starts, freaking being a pain. Yeah. It didn't on that gig, so I don't know, but
it sounds like you need a Japan, like a Ibanez custom shop version of that with larger string spacing.
Oh, dude, if they could do this, but with like 18 mil string spacing, I'd have their babies. I'd have lots of little Ibanez babies. Yeah, like
be incredible.
So
I mean, that's not out of the question, dude. That's not out of the question.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, do they make customs? I don't know anything about Ibanez, to be honest.
I think for you,
I know they make great. I know they make great basses, but if anybody from Ibanez is listening, like if you could do me like a version of this bass, but with like a little wider string space on the bridge, I will have your babies personally. I don't know if that's happened before. I don't know. I don't
know. The claim, high praise, all the things.
Okay,
dude, that's so cool.
So that's my number two. What's your number two?
I got to go to Spectre, and I can't talk all about it. Yeah. But my number two is right after the new year. I got to go out to Spectre in Woodstock, New York. So upstate New York, which is beautiful. It's also where Tony Levin lives, where Gail Ann Dorsey lives. Yes. Yeah. Michael Tobias is there. Citron is there. Labella Strings. Of course, Spectre and many others that I'm just forgetting right now.
What is Labella up there? I always thought they were like in Labella, New York.
I think they have both, but I think
got it.
I'm going to get this wrong, and Eric from Labella is going to be like, no, but they're near the Hudson. They're near the Hudson. And that's probably, I don't even know what that means, but I think they are close-ish to Woodstock.
Got it. Yeah.
I might be wrong. But here's the deal. The last year I was out, I did this thing called the Woodstock Custom Collection with them, where they'd made all these like one-of-one like prototypey bases that all of the people that worked there helped design. And it was a huge, ambitious project. And they did it, and it was amazing. Huge shout out to Will DeYoung, who is the shop manager. He used to be the shop manager or worked at Fodera. I'm not sure if he was the shop manager. Will, excuse me. I wish I knew the detail on that, but worked at Fodera, was potentially the shop manager, and now runs the shop at Spectre, and he's incredible. And he opened this project up to all these builders who made these unbelievable bases. And part of the deal back then was I said, I want you guys to build me one too. And then he gave me two options. He said, do you want me to build you one that is for this thing? And then he said, here's another option. He said, I will build you one with some of the new stuff that we've got coming out. And I can't even say, he's like, there's three big things that we're going to do. And I could do yours with these three things, and it will be really great, but you'll have to wait.
And I was seen it. And I've seen it.
You have seen it, dude. You have seen it. Yeah, I showed you a picture, dude.
He snuck me a look.
And I mean, there's going to be a lot of people out there, like if you don't care about Spectre, you're going to be like, oh, big deal. But there is a huge Spectre contingent out there that is really down with, there's like three eras. There's like the original Brooklyn era in the late 70s, then the Kramer era when Kramer bought it. And that's when they started to turn up in all the hair metal bands, Skid Row and Winger and Alice in Chains and Queensryche. And then there's the post Kramer era, which they call the Woodstock era, which is when it went, Stewart got the company back, brought it to Woodstock, started to create again. And then now it's under new ownership. Korg bought it and put in an unbelievable team. And dude, that trip, we went through all of these new things about what they're going to change and what they're going to leave the same. And it was so fun. And I got this instrument and we did the reveal. I mean, I got to go through and pick out the woods, dude. I got to pick out the fingerboard and I got to pick out the top and the neck blank. And they were like, Will was like, there are all these options, but this one I like for these reasons, taught me all this stuff. And they made me a world-class instrument. Like, it is so cool. It's just very different from what I usually play.
Can you say how many strings it is?
It's a 5.
Because you said to me, I was just checking before I dropped the bomb. You said it was the best 5-string you've ever played in your life.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and certainly like in a modern, it's the best like modern 5-string. The B string is amazing. It just has all this punch and it sounds humongous and it's built so beautifully. It looks so good. I got to stop before I say too much, but that's really exciting. That's my number 2, man. It blew my mind. And the team out there blew my mind.
When can you share?
Because I just don't, I think it's in the spring where they're going to do the big reveal of all this stuff. So this is probably going to come out before that. But I did a thing too where they had me, try to like do a neck carve.
Oh yeah.
It was so hard. I mean, it was so difficult. And just shout out to everybody there. They're just incredible, amazing builders. It just gave me a huge appreciation for what builders do. I mean, at Spectre, but across the whole, everybody that's doing lutherie, it is brutally hard. And I know Scott, because you've sanded a bass or two in your day. That is a lot of work, bases.
Dude. I've rasped a few necks.
Yes, you have.
I'll tell you what's really hard. Actually, I found challenging. The hardest thing is like chiseling the neck. Like on a neck through, like this bit here.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Dude, shaping that with chisels and a freaking mallet, which is what we used to do. Like that's intense
so
because
hard.
it feels like you could just ruin the bass in one foul swoop of the chisel. Of the mallet,
and a chunk comes out and like, back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. Man. I just had a rasp and was doing the headstock contour, like, this spot on the bass where like the neck goes into the headstock. Yeah. It was so hard to do. It was so hard. And even though Will was telling me exactly what to do, my understanding of the words that were coming out of his mouth were different. And then he's like, no, not this spot, this spot. And I'm like, oh my God. And all these guys are like standing around like, oh, kind of like, don't quit your day job, Ian, don't build bases, dude. Do not do it. But anyway, that's my number 2. What's your number 2?
I've done my number 2. My number 3.
Oh, your number 3.
My number 3 is I took the kids and my wife into Leeds, which is where we live, and we stayed in a hotel one night over Christmas. And it was super cool. Like, I've always floated the idea to Lisa, and she was always like, I don't get it. Like, why would we go and stay in a hotel in Leeds when we live here? And I'm like, because it will be cool.
Yeah,
and totally. She was feeling a bit ill. She got this sort of like this flu bug over Christmas, and she was like weaker than normal mentally. So I could bully her into it.
she's like, whatever, Scott, great.
Exactly
I just need to sleep.
Exactly that, yeah. So we booked into this hotel room. It was like conjoined rooms. So the kids had their room, we had our room. We could walk between the 2 rooms and stuff. And we went out for a meal, and then we came back from the meal. We popped open some wine. The kids didn't have any. We got we all got into bed. We put on a film, and it was awesome. And we all just sat and watched this film. Kids stayed up super late, and they were really excited about it. And then they slept right through till like 8:30, I think, in the morning. It was awesome. So that's my number 3. It was just
That's incredible. That sounds great. Amazing.
We should do it more. We should do it more.
Yeah, we used to do that. We used to take the kids and do like a sort of like a staycation, but in a hotel that's local. That was just like, because there was a pool and there was like vending machines and continental breakfast and
breakfast.
We can, dude, it's great.
All you can eat breakfast. Oh.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's so funny because Emily and I were both like, okay, we need to do this with them. Like if we take them on something fantastic, like if we take them ever to Disney or we take them ever to a Six Flags or something, it will ruin the hotel vacation forever. They'll be like, hold on. You've been like, this isn't vacation. So we're like, oh, the hotel. Hey. And they're like, I'm a hotel. So we've done that too. It's great.
Well, it's awesome. What's your number 3 then, man?
Okay. My number 3 is I got absolutely hooked on an anime called Demon Slayer. Scott, do you know about Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer. I'm going to write it down.
Listen to me right now, everybody. If you don't know, it is the biggest franchise that has ever existed in Japan. They put out a Demon Slayer movie in Japan. It's a Japanese anime, duh. And it broke every box office record in Japan for any film ever. I think they put out the movie in 2020.
Demon Slayer, okay.
Dude, listen. Is it
Awesome?
episodes. It is, there are like a lot of kids that are watching it, but it is not a kid's show.
I was about to say, like, really, can I watch it with my boy? No.
I mean, Everly got really interested because she would see YouTube compilations going through different characters, right? Everly is 11, and she was like, I really want to watch this. And I watched some of it, and it was so intense. But I have a thought about media that if you interface with your kids, it actually can be a safe way to experience intense things. So I was like, I will watch it with you. And I'll, slog through this, kiddie anime thing that I don't know anything about.
And you loved it.
It's incredible.
It's
incredible. If you watch it, please watch it not dubbed in English. Watch it in Japanese with subtitles. It's amazing. I mean, yeah, and it's silly. It's an anime. It's like, it's Japanese. It's stylized in an anime. And for some people, that's like, people are like, oh, that's weird because they're not used to it. But let me just give you one pitch. Here's the pitch.
Give it to me.
Anime does character development and character backstory faster and better than any genre ever. So you meet these characters and they're weird. And you're like, why? I don't understand this character's motivation. And then a couple episodes in, it dives into this backstory about this horrible thing that happened to them as a kid and how they were separated from their parents and and it is incredible. So Demon Slayer, right and wrong, there's demons, they're bad, right? And then there are the Slayers and they're good, right? But no, it gets into that moral ambiguity thing of like, how did these demons become? What were they before? Of the Slayers have empathy for those characters? And I cry my eyes out. Dude, there are, as one of the most horrific bad guys is dying, he goes back into his, as a child and realizes all the mistakes he's made and the horrible things and cries, I'm sorry to his parents. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
And they then sort of meet him in, I don't know, an afterlife and they say, it's okay. And he hugs them and they weep. And dude, it is so, dude, I get teary just now, just thinking about it. It's incredible.
It says,
to me,
age 12 here. I was like, age 12. Well, yeah.
It's definitely not for winter, I don't think. Like we haven't let Dash watch it, but story, I mean, I don't know. It's also very violent and there's decapitation and blood and, but the main character, dude, it's crazy. But the main character is he's so endearing and so good-hearted and incredible. Like, so there's all of this. The moral of it, like the backbone of it, is really, really lovely, really lovely. And there's
I'll
heavy
watch
stuff.
it and I'll make a call. I'll see. Like he's pretty mature and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, because he watched. I guess the worst thing, the one thing that kind of traumatized him is when he was watching that. I which episode is it? The Star Wars where Anakin gets his legs chopped off and his arm, and he's like crawling up and he's on fire and stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
intense.
Like I looked at him, he looked at me, and I was like, oh boy. And then there was like, that was definitely. But he was younger. I just didn't know that was coming, man. I was like chilling, having my breakfast at the time.
Yes. Yeah, eating cornflakes, dude.
Dude, I was eating cornflakes, like, shoveling them in, and I was like,
wow. Yeah. Well, I will say there is a disconnection because it's animated, right? Like when you see humans in a movie get their legs chopped off, it's maybe more visceral. In this, it's a cartoon. So that has a softening thing, but I was unprepared for how arrested I was going to be with it. Dude, like we watched all of season 1. We bought the movie on Blu-ray. We had a movie night, Everly and I, where we watched that. It's so good.
Everly's gone in. Everly's in.
Oh, she's in. And there's books, right? There's books that so her grandmother for Christmas, my mom bought her like the huge set of books. It's all she reads. They read the opposite way. Have you ever seen that? Anime is open and you read from right to left and backwards. What? Yes. Japanese. That's how you read Japanese, the other way.
Well, I know that, but they don't, but they don't need us to do that, right?
Well, yes. So the books, which, are translated in English, still read right, but on screen, yes. The animes, the mangas, yes. You open the book, like imagine taking a book, turning it over, and opening the back cover and reading, starting from now the right page, reading left to right.
It's always like, hey, Daddy can have a bedtime. So I'll be like, no.
but fear not. The subtitles read, of course,
left to right. That's just blown my mind.
English, yeah.
Have you seen Avatar 3 yet?
No, but I would. I would.
Dude, I watched Avatar. I watched Avatar with the kids just the other day. Dude, Did you love it? Awesome. I've seen it before, but the kids loved it, man. Yeah, they loved it. Yeah, I just love it.
Sorry, we had a dropout for a second.
Oh, did it glitch? Yeah.
Glitched.
No, I was just saying that. I was saying that the kids absolutely loved it. It was freaking awesome, and I've not watched it for. Man, I haven't watched it since it came out, but I do want to go see number 2 and see what it was like. I'm excited about that.
Amazing. Let me. I know we're probably going to bounce here in a minute, but let me just do one thing. We were supposed to today talk about pickups. Right?
Oh yeah.
We're supposed to talk about pickups, and that episode is coming. But I'm going to just put a bonus number 4 that has blown my tiny mind is the single coil pickup that is inside of the 51 style bass. So this is a 55.
Haven't you? Yeah.
It's incredible. And this one is a Curtis Novak.
Again, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, just like the sound of this bass, it's so like open and even fingers. There's so much like weight and character.
That sounds great. When are we going to do the episode then? When are we going to do the episode? Is it Is it coming next?
I think it's next. So I just wanted to say there's so many different types of pickups out there. And Scott and I are going to get into what we love, what we don't love, what they are. We're going to tell you all about it, but not today.
We have a common love in pickups. We do have a common love in pickups, actually. But we'll talk about that on the episode. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening or watching. Hey, if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel where you can catch these, obviously go subscribe. And did you know, Ian, that only, I think it's something like 20% of our viewers on YouTube are actually subscribed to the channel? Are you
serious?
Yes.
That's too low of a number.
I think that we should have a gentleman's agreement. And
Agreed.
If you're a lady out there and you're thinking, well, I'm not a gentleman. Hey, it's a new world. We can have ladies in our gentleman agreement, okay? Our gentleman's agreement, it's for you as well. Our gentleman's agreement is that we will consistently and consistently keep on creating awesome content for you. And in return, it will be amazing if you went and subscribed to our YouTube channel. And that would mean when we release awesome videos for you, you will get notified that we release them. And you can, come and comment on them and give us shit if you don't like the video, and tell us it's nice if you do like the video.
Let us know. And when you go to give us that 5-star review, if you're thinking, this is more of a 3-star podcast, keep that opinion to yourself.
Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time. See you in a bit. Bye.
Take care, everybody.